Hi, I'm Evan.
Hi, I'm Colby.
And this is
The Filtered Podcast.
Thank you for joining us on our journey.
Where we'll give a taste of life,
Christ,
and some of our craziest stories.
So please join us on our life through the Christian lens.
Where several friends will join us along the way.
Hopefully you take something away from us.
But enough of that. Roll the tape.
Welcome back to the Filtered Podcast.
I'm the only Colby.
And I'm Evan.
Welcome back to episode 3 of season 2.
Let's see.
If you were at our behind the scenes meeting, you would have witnessed me and Evan and a couple other people debating about where we had the chairs.
We were?
Yep, we debated about whether they're on this step or the other step.
I was so confused. Yes.
Turns out the answer is
Both.
both.
Because our original first episode, we did it on the main level, but that episode didn't work out like every first episode.
Yep.
And then the second episode, I started moving stuff up on this thing, and so
And now we're one step higher for whatever reason.
nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
And pretty soon we got 2 more steps to go and elevate before we're at our highest. And then we can transcend no more, to quote Tyler Bennett from previous episodes. I hit Evan mid of his BP. It's not yogurt. It's pudding.
It is pudding. I'm so happy you remembered.
Yeah, in our 5-minute production meeting, we decided food would be good.
Okay, so let's explain. So Colby had a meeting. I was like, should I go work? And it was only going to be like an hour. I was like, why? It's just an hour. I'm barely going to get paid. So I stayed at the church. What did Evan do? Oh, Evan just wrote a song and then questioned life. And then...
As one does when they spend a couple hours in church.
Exactly. Alone. And then I was like, I actually want to do a little bit of prep work for today's talk. And so that's what I did. Colby came. I said, hey, bro, I'm hungry. Can we go to the BP? He's like, yeah, bro, let me go to the restroom.
Wow, we're getting into every last detail of that conversation. Yeah, well, then we proceeded to head over to the BP, where I've spent an ungodly amount of money in the last 4.5 years since I moved here to the WL. It's in a dangerously close striking distance of my apartment, and it makes it really easy to go, I just want a Diet Coke.
Mm-hmm.
So I go buy one.
I thought the same thing about this. Like 2 days ago, I'm like, I'm at Tyler and Ryo's, and like they're already in bed, and I'm like, I kind of want to leave and go get a Mountain Dew Voltage, but then I fell asleep, which was a great idea because I'm broke. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But well, enough of our chitter chatter and yapping about things that you probably do not care about unless you're just laughing at us for being goofballs.
I mean, a great way to start it off. I mean, welcome to the Filtered Podcast. This
is about as unfiltered as what we get. But speaking of the podcast, Evan, what shall we be talking about today?
How I spent almost an hour on a new intro video.
That is true. It's been live for a couple episodes now.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome.
It's crazy what Canva can do.
No way, that was on Canva.
Yeah.
That's actually awesome.
I did all of the editing on Canva.
That's fantastic. That's an awesome piece
I
of
know,
information.
right? But anyway, the real topic of today is why should we be dependent on the Lord? And why can we trust him? Why can we should we trust him? That's what I should have said. How to be dependent on the Lord and how can we trust him? Yeah.
So, Evan,
Yes.
that approaches the question. Why should we trust the Lord, and why should we be dependent upon him?
I'm so glad you asked. 1 second. That was good.
Big old bite.
Yep. So, start off. Obviously, our day to day, it all depends on being connected with the Lord, and the Lord wants to be in your day to day life. He wants to be your go to at any point in your life, either a bad day or a good day. If you are even struggling on a little calculation on a math test or a simple question of why, Lord, am I in a tough decision with a loved one or a family member, he wants to talk to you. In Exodus, it talks about how God is compassionate, gracious, slow to anger, overflowing with loyal love, and so much faithfulness. If we don't want someone, sorry, what? Okay. We need someone that's faithful and that's trustworthy in our lives. A solid rock.
Yeah.
A firm foundation. And some people would be like, Evan, well, I have this person that I can rely on each day, and this person talks a lot into my life, and this person tells me what the Lord is telling me, and I listen to them and I do the work.
Yeah.
I'd probably say, good job. I'm proud of you. You have someone you can talk to.
Yeah.
But you should have somebody that you can rely on, that's truthful, and you can depend on your everyday life, and actually ask the Lord if that person is telling the truth, or because only you can decide on what the Lord is telling you, because that's your relationship with them. And I would say he is a loving father.
Yeah.
He is dependable. He's more dependable than people.
Yeah.
We need, even though we find those people that we trust in our lives, it's always good to have a foundation.
Yeah.
In the Old Testament, if I'm remembering this right, this is all my notes. I'm just like trying to remember this. So God created Adam. Adam believed in God. Adam trusted God. Adam would trust and believe in God in everything. Obviously, he was human. He sinned. He did the wrong. But he still trusted God.
Yeah.
But after generations and generations, Adam died, and then kingdoms fell on, oh, the Lord's not with us. Ecclesiastes talks a lot about how nothing matters, and this was around the time where kingdoms were falling because there was no foundation or somebody that was in the world at that moment to show that foundation. Luckily, there was another person. Do you remember the other person? I'm trying to remember. It was Adam, this person, and then this person. I know the last person.
My big guess is Abram.
Was it Abram?
I'm not totally sure, but that's my guess.
But there was another person that the Lord was saying, oh wait, hold on. I don't want to take this out of context because I don't want to be blasphemous. Oh,
that's a good thing to do. Not be blasphemous.
Do I love the Bible app? Yes. Remind me later.
Subtle plug for the Bible app. Okay. Make sure you use that every day. Okay. Keep those streaks alive.
If you do it, it's kind of like, oh, I'm doing great. Okay, sorry. In the beginning of Matthew, it starts off the book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. David was the other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So because everybody that tried in Ecclesiastes and all of those times, they tried to have Christianity and tried to believe in the Lord and trust the Lord. But as soon as they came up to those giants and those deceivers and all those people that were tearing them down, they said, Lord, I don't think I believe that you're with me. So they go back into the fallen world. But then there was this guy one day, David, trusted with all of himself that the Lord was trusting and loving, and so he put himself on that firm foundation of the Lord and trusted the Lord and helped other people believe in Christ again, which was another beautiful thing. But then the Lord says that there will be one person, one entity that will come into the world and make right, and he will be forever a firm foundation for eternity.
Yeah.
And that was Jesus Christ. Jesus changed almost everything. Well, everything. He did change everything.
Everything.
For the good, yeah. And so that's kind of why we trust in the Lord, is because He's our firm foundation. And even though we have the struggles of pain and not trusting people or trusting the Lord or asking the Lord, why are you doing this? Why this? Why this time? All is for a reason. But the Lord is doing it out of love for you. You might not understand it. You probably won't. just you have to believe that the Lord's doing it for your will.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that some days.
It's, yeah. We need to trust every day
Yeah.
in the Lord. He is our firm foundation. He has the power to help us slay those giants that stand in our way every day. And like even if you have to go to work the next day or school the next day or even something else the next day that you're just like, I don't really want to do that. You have to learn to know that the Lord has got you.
Kind of a little side tangent off there from what you said, that you've been saying a lot of things that made me think of a moment from life. But my first job that I ever worked outside of kind of like a spiritual environment where everyone around me is like Christian, was at Buffalo Wild Wings. And that was like a really big eye-opening thing for me of like where this question of why do I trust God came up to me. Because I would work most days. I'd walk in, see the same people. They'd come in either hungover or getting past their high or coming in a little high just to be able to make it through the day. And then they would ask me things of like, so what are you doing after this? I'm like, well, probably going to church, going to go hang out with friends or whatever. And then I'd ask them, what are you doing? And they're like, I'll probably just going to get drunk because there's nothing else to do. And like, that was just like a really hard cycle to see in other people's lives of like, without that trust, without that hope, without that driving purpose. And that kind of circles around to an NF song, All I Have, where it's like the end of the day, like he's like, this is all I have.
Yeah.
Let me have it. Like if you take it away, like don't tell me that this isn't real. This is all I have. And that kind of circled back down to that trust in God of he's proven it over to me over time and time again. This is all I have. This is what gets me up in the morning is that hope, that drive, and a purpose. It's not to just end the day so I can forget the day. It's how can we make the day memorable for everybody else and point them towards the person who is unforgettable. So that was my little soapbox there in the middle of your soapbox. So ball's back in your court now.
Yeah. There is full of grace in the kingdom of the Lord. We can do it. We can do the thing that helps us learn that we do have a foundation. Doesn't mean that you're going to learn it the next day.
Yeah.
Or today. Or in 10 minutes. Or right now. Just know that some point in your life, or some point that's already happened in your life, you have it.
Yeah.
It's all in a matter of, do you believe it? Do you? That's the question. Because that's what's going to guide you more in your life is you believing in the Lord that He has you.
He's going to get you through.
Yeah.
And that's something that's going to be hard every single day that you have to fight through it of like, do I believe this? Why do I believe this? Like you'll have that voice in your head more often than not. At least I know I do. Maybe I'm just crazy. But that's that. Yeah, it circles back to why. It's because He is. He's worthy of it. He's proven to me time and time again.
My sophomore year of high school, I had 3 deaths in my family. One, my uncle. One, my grandma. And one of my not very close friends, I knew him, Cameron Fairchild. The Lord was really teaching me in those days that what trust meant, because I didn't understand, because my grandma, sweetest person in the world, very old, and I knew she was going through a lot. She died, and she meant the world to me. I struggled with 3 years of this being the third year of saying I love you to people, and meaning it, because when she died, I chickened out and I didn't say I love you. Okay, so why am I saying that? The reason why I'm saying that is because later that year, I got a girlfriend. And I learned a lot of what does love mean. What does love, like, what does true, real love mean? And I got to learn that in many ways. And then I keep learning each day what who should I have in my life, and who should I have not in my life, and who should I tell I love them and actually mean it, or should I just say, yeah, I care for you too. Because I still struggle with it. I said it. I still struggle with it. My second death was my uncle. I struggled with finding the peace in being there for people in their hardest times. Because my other grandma, she had to attend her brother's funeral.
Yeah.
And so I was there for her. I made her laugh. I tried to remind her of all the good times. Obviously, it was really painful because he really meant a lot to me. But I learned that. What was great about that is that I got to learn later that year what it meant to be, what it meant for me to be there for somebody that's grieving. Because when my grandma passed, I didn't understand any of that.
Yeah.
And I finally got to feel and understand it. And I got to do it for my friends when their grandpa died. And I did their dishes. I cleaned up downstairs for them. I made sure that they came home to a decently clean house because it was Thanksgiving and everything was really chaotic. And I wasn't even hoping for a thanks. I was just doing it because I knew what they were going through. And I know they love me for just them knowing that I'm there. And it was a great learning opportunity. And my third one was Cameron. That one was a little difficult because we went to his funeral in the middle of the school day as a football team. And that was really difficult because I don't know if you've ever went to a funeral, then went straight back to school. It's not great. I'm just telling you, it's really bad, especially when you have a really terrible biology teacher. Yeah, I'm calling out. the I struggled. I struggled so badly with dealing with a loss of somebody that I barely knew.
Yeah.
And that kind of drawn into what I did for my friends, because it helped me like be like, okay, yeah, I can grieve with you.
Yeah.
Because like, even though I don't know him that much,
You
and I
sympathize.
I wish I knew him, but I can at least sympathize for you.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm explaining all this is because God has a purpose for everything.
Yeah.
God is faithful. God's
Just.
God is gracious. He's compassionate. He's in all these seasons of life. And God does everything for a reason. For me, it was that year for all those deaths. For me to learn all of those things.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, once you have that firm foundation of the Lord, just know there's going to be hurt. There is going to be pain, but there's going to be a purpose.
Yeah. There's going to be a good side to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes you don't actually think it's a great way, it's God's way.
Yeah.
And that's what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with what Evan just said. He kind of sparked another example in my mind of earlier this year. I was going through a hard time, and I went straight off the camp, and I was carrying a lot of things with me. Didn't know how to deal with it. And one night a situation just happened. I snapped, and I was up there in our lounge, and I was just sitting there. I was like, I need someone to talk to. For whatever reason, one of the guys on staff, Walker, popped in my mind. I'm like, gotta talk to Walker. So I walkie him, and he goes, I'll be right there in a minute. And he comes in 5 minutes and just listens to me yap. I don't even know how long it was, but it wasn't much more than just a sympathizing face and, dang, bro. And at the end, he just goes, I'm so sorry. That just sucks that you have to go through all that right now, with also a high period of giving your all to a bunch of people over the course of the summer. Mm-hmm. But that conversation happened, and he goes, well, I got to get back going. And later I found out he gave up something for me, and it was a big thing. And looking back, I realized how much that meant to me, that he stopped what he was doing, set it aside, and ran to come to me. And that's kind of the story of a flawed story that points kind of like a reminder to the 99 sheep and the shepherd leaving for the one. Where he's like, where it's at, it's okay, but I'm going to come find you. And that to me is just a good example of, if someone on this earth can be that faithful and that trustworthy, he'll still let me down. He's letting me down since that day because he's human. But God created him. God created that trustworthy person to have in my life. That's that rock that calls me, and whenever I call him, he will pick up. Now he'll pick up and be like, hey, now's not a good time. I'll call you back in 30. But he still answers when I need him. Yeah. If God can create something that trustworthy, that models trust, how much more trustworthy can he be if he's perfect and won't break that trust?
We're flawless.
And yeah.
Wait, we are flawed.
We're flawed.
We are flawed.
He is flawless.
Heresy.
And it may seem at this moment like he broke my trust. It may seem hard at this moment. And it's so hard to look past that. Why did that happen? And who knows? It may take years. It may take moments.
Yeah.
But from that hurt and that pain that happened back to me in May, I've had opportunities to sit and talk to people and be there for them in their situation and empathize and be someone to just sit there. On top of that, I learned all that stuff from Walker of how to just sit there and empathize and be there for someone. Yeah. And looking back, I can see the plan. It still doesn't make sense to me. It still wouldn't be what I would choose, and it's still not what I want to choose. But it's God's plan. I have to have trust. I have to have faith that He'll see me through. That my will is built on Him. I'm forgetting the lyrics right now from that. Why am I forgetting the name of their song? From Foundation.
Oh,
Maverick City song.
Cody Carnes.
And Cody Carnes. Both of them sing it. But He's our firm foundation. No matter what, He's going to see us through. It's hard to believe that. I go through that process daily of why. But at the end of the day, when my head hits the pillow, I sit back and count all my blessings to remember. That's why. He's a good God. He's got my back at the end of the day. And yeah, it might have been a hard work day of where I had to slave through 6 hours, but at least I got to work. At least I got a roof over my head.
At least you could be a light to somebody.
At least I could be a light to somebody. The blessings pile up way faster than all the negatives of realizing just how good He is throughout the day.
Yeah.
But here I am sitting on the negative of someone said a comment to me that I don't know what they meant by it. It's amazing how those one little negatives can just disrupt all your trust.
Yeah. It's especially hard when Satan just plops something in your head and it's like, hey, you remember this?
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. It's already happened to me more than once tonight. I already looked at my phone. I already did something that I didn't want to do. So what did I do? I put it down because I realized, like, oh yeah, we are literally talking about depending on the Lord, and this is what I should be focusing on. And so I really want to make this clear. Having a firm foundation on the Lord is super important. I'm going to say it every single time when Colby stops talking. I'm going to say it because it's true. Small plug. I know this is really, really awkward timing, and I'll probably get talked to about this later, but you should go listen to Faithful by 909 Collective. And listen to the lyrics. I'm being serious. Please listen. Faithful, Living Temple, this whole album that 909 Collective has done, that we're a part of. I'm just gonna say it. It's a beautiful thing what we have. We have a church that's on fire for the Lord and wants to have the Lord as their firm foundation.
Yeah.
So I recommend listening to that album and actually listening to the lyrics because it might be nice. It might be helpful to you guys. If not, there's always Firm Foundation by Cody Carnes and Maverick City. So
yeah.
But I also going over like Philippians and Exodus and these chapters in the Bible can really help. Even if those don't stick out to you, again, we talked about this Bible app. You can go to the search bar, look at literally any emotion that you might be going through, press on it, and it'll give you a scripture, and hopefully the Lord will guide you your way.
Yeah.
Will it make sense? Maybe, maybe not. That's up to you.
Yeah.
But just know you have steps. You have steps to freedom.
Yeah.
It's a battlefront for the mind.
Mm-hmm.
God is always going to be with you. Satan's also going to be with you. But you need to remember that God is always on the throne.
Yeah.
And Satan's down here. Satan's going to hear what you're saying and use it against you.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what will also help? Praying.
Yeah.
Speaking to the Lord out loud. Because
devil can't hear what's going on in here. For those of you listening, point out my head, my brain. But he can hear what you say out loud.
No.
And words have power.
And yeah, he can plant stuff in your mind. But
the power of suggestion.
But he doesn't know what's actually going on.
Yeah.
He'll see your actions, not what you're thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have the tools. It's time to make.
Yeah.
It's time to make that foundation.
Oh yeah.
Because it is right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta take that step.
Yeah.
Imagine a floating, broken island.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere, and you see this great flat land. You can rely on that.
Yeah.
So why not step on it? And you might be like, "Oh, that's sketchy. That's in like the middle of nowhere. What? No, that's deceiving. No, I'm not going to fall into that." But the Lord's calling you to do it. So take that step.
Yeah. Amen. Well, one last thing I want to kind of leave out here. This is up for you guys if you want to do it. Have a reminder somewhere. Somewhere where it's not going to get old. Somewhere that you will see it consistently. For me, one of my reminders, I have a tattoo.
Be still.
Be still. My favorite Bible verse. But it's a great reminder of when life is too tough, life is hard, when it gets shaky, that foundation's scary. Be still and know that I am God.
Yep.
Because you know what? I'm not God, but He is.
Yeah.
And someday we'll probably dive into that verse a lot more because it's fantastic. Yeah. And it's a daily reminder that I see. It doesn't get old. I appreciate it every single day.
Yeah.
Be still. And I don't know what that looks like to you. I don't know what that reminder is of when things get hard, when trust is hard, when it seems like you're all on your own, or where it is that you'll see it, but you'll know.
Yeah.
God's trustworthy. God's faithful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amen.
But, well, I think that's all that we have on this topic for today. Who knows? It's a deep and vast topic that maybe one day we'll circle back around to.
Yeah, and we're gonna have more stuff to talk about.
Oh yeah, we have a whole list of topics.
Yeah,
but
we're building.
But we also want to hear your suggestions.
Yes.
So if you have any topics you want us to hear us talk about, it's helpful because we get to learn too sometimes. If it's some curveball, we'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can there's a Q&A section on Spotify that you can type a topic into.
There's even a comment section on YouTube.
There's that too. Or follow the Instagram. Send us a DM.
Please, yeah.
But we'd love to hear from you guys of topics because not only is it helpful probably for you guys to hear and hopefully grow your faith and hear from our perspective, but then we get to learn about how to reach you guys at where you're at.
Yeah, it's especially helpful for us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I have my Diet Coke burp into the microphone. That came out of nowhere.
Well, great podcast.
Great podcast. Great way to end the day.
Yeah.
I'm going on hour 13 of being out and about doing work with only a 45-minute break at home to grab a thing of soup. But I wouldn't have...
That's actually really funny.
I wouldn't have had today the end in any other way.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening to the Filter Podcast. If you like what you see and you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. We're on everywhere, any platform except for Pandora.
Boo.
If it's not obvious, I'm tired, so I'm not going to dish them tonight.
I said so Evan didn't have to.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, thank you for liking. Please comment. Any suggestions, anything. We're here for you guys. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Yep. Make sure you tell your friends. I don't think you said that one in your notes of things to tell people. But yeah, tell your friends. Maybe this is helpful.
Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog.
Not your cat.
Yeah.
We don't want any cat listeners.
No, please no. Leave your cat home where it needs to be.
I think we said all that needs to be said for now. So
All right.
without further ado, peace.
Peace.